All right. So we'll go on and get started since everybody's here. Welcome everybody to the February 7th, 2023 Board of Directors meeting for Delta Club. And first thing, it seems like everything is getting a little bit better with the health situation. I know we had a pretty good turnout last month for being in person only. Is there any objection to meeting in person only again this month?
Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
Okay.
And we've got
There he is.
3 people for test session, I think, already.
All right, I'll be right.
Bob will not be able to be there. He had a broken foot operated on last Monday.
Oh, wow.
I think it was Monday. He's still in the hospital getting physical therapy so he can get around. He cannot put weight on it for 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, no, that's right.
6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
He
Joe,
said,
or any of those people from your class?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. There are 2 youngsters and one guy that tested in November that's going to go for general.
Cool.
Question related to the in-person. We talked about recording the meetings and posting those. Are we still looking at doing that? Or
I need to check with Steve. I dropped the ball on getting in touch with him because he started to try to load it and had an issue with YouTube not letting him post it or something. And so I've got to get with him to see what we need to do to post it. Because something I was going to talk to him about too, to see if it's easier, if it helps to bring my personal computer for him to download it, the file to it. So that way I can come home and within a day or 2 get it uploaded so he doesn't have to worry about that. But I'm going to wait and see what I've got to talk to him. So it's recorded. It sounds like it's pretty decent, but it just hasn't been uploaded yet. And that's on
I'm
me.
just
I haven't
curious,
checked in.
I've talked to, I've gotten a couple questions from people and about in person or not. And so I've been trying to tell them that that's where we're headed, is we'll be posting them if they can't make it in person. But I just want to make sure that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell them that we're trying to work out the kinks to figure out the best way to record it and post it. So that way that kind of says that that's what we're trying to do, because it is. But I mean, if we, we've got to figure out the best way to do that too. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Let's see. So before we get to the budget, because I know we'll need to decide this before we cover the budget, I looked up, so the price that we paid for Zoom last year and the invoice, the year would renew on April 11th of this year. And so with taxes and fees and surcharges, it came out to $163.76. We can't get away with the free one when we use it, if we have to use it for the club meetings, because it's got too many people. And so I think with this one, the Zoom One Pro, and they just changed the names on a bunch of the stuff. So the Zoom One Pro, I think, is up to 100 people, and then it's a certain amount of time that you're allowed and all that. So that's the next step up from free. So I know we're trying to get away from doing Zoom with the in-person meetings, but we've got a couple. I know Aries. What's your plan, John, for meetings? Or you still want to utilize
We're
that for a
still
while?
doing Zoom. We're still doing Zoom, but I mean, if I got to get, our own account, we can. It's just
And
been
then-
convenient to be able to use the
Yeah.
public account.
And then Joe, you're still using it for classes, correct? And
Yes,
I guess with both of y'all, you would prefer to still use it for Aries and for classes, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, and then, and of course, we're using it for the board meetings, which the capacity, we don't need the paid account for these. But I think for the timeline, if that's.
How many hours is the Pro One?
Uh,
If there's a time frame now, because I'll go.
Well, there was
probably-
last year,
I'll go 20
we're not-
hours on a class and I do 3 classes.
so it looks like they might have changed it. I'll tell you what, let me share screen. All right. So here's what, if y'all can see this okay. So,
Yep.
of course, this is the invoice amount, that's before fees and taxes. So it would be the 163.76 amount. And here's the details. So 100, up to 100 attendees. So I guess this is going to be more beneficial for especially Aries, and if we have to use this for a club meeting. And then the big thing, I guess, is now cloud capacity, which I download the meeting recordings to my computer to upload to whatever. I'm not sure. Do y'all normally upload them to the Zoom cloud, or do y'all put them on your computer?
Don't record them for Aries.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I record them to my computer.
So I guess the biggest thing now is just attendees up to 100. Let me see.
I know for Aries, we would never even approach 100. So
Is an individual meeting duration limit?
So on the free, it's up to 40 minutes per meeting. That's what I was thinking of for that.
right.
And so that's why between that and then, so I guess it's, so they've upgraded. Used to, it was like 20
Oh, okay,
attendees, I
up to
think,
30
for
hours
free.
per meeting. It's not a total amount of hours.
Correct.
30
Correct.
hours per meeting.
So technically you could have a meeting and then for 40 minutes and then drop and then start a new one.
Yeah.
Take
I
a
mean, and if
bio
we-
break and start a new one.
We could, I don't know. I mean, if we use it enough, I think it would be worth budgeting and just renewing it another year. Either that, we could do it month by month, but it's, I think, about $30 plus tax and fees and everything. So at that point, I would say just do the 160 for
Let's
one
do the
more year.
month and, I mean, let's do it for the year and
See how it works out.
Yeah. And I mean, because we may utilize it, we may decide that, you know, we phase it out next year, but personally, I think we should keep it in the budget and do it one more year.
yes.
What do y'all think?
I agree.
I concur.
Yeah, I like these meetings. I mean, instead of me going all the way from Collierville to Bartlett, you know.
Mhm.
I'd like these meetings to be 40 minutes or less.
Good luck with
We'll-
that one.
We'll try, but
That was pretty good there, Jim.
good luck. Good luck.
I can do that for Aries.
I'm just teasing.
Oh.
No,
Yeah. Well, and you know, something else too, it does allow us, I mean, using Zoom allows us to do, I know we met for like the bylaws revision and stuff. And so if anything like that pops up, and we can, you know, we can let any committees or groups use it that need to use it. So I don't know. So I'll entertain, I don't know, if it's already in the budget, so I don't know if we need it. I guess I'll say, is there any objection, since it's already been budgeted previously, to keeping Zoom another year?
How much is it budgeted for? If you've been
Well,
talking.
it really
free,
hadn't been budgeted.
I don't think
If
It
it's
was
free, it's
expense,
not-
but
If
there's
it's
not a
free-
last
budget
year-
line for it.
Last year, I thought we added it in.
We talked
Yeah.
If
about
it was free last year, you didn't pay anything.
Well,
No,
because
we
we had
paid last year.
added it in.
talked about it in the bylaws about having a media thing.
I don't think you have to have a line item for Zoom at $150 a year.
Yeah, I think we had it under the discretionary fund.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's,
Is that
it
what-
was under discretionary.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Just keep it in discretionary and don't have a line item for it.
Okay, I mean,
Yep.
well, that's fine, whatever y'all think.
I mean, I don't know anybody that's gonna raise holy hell about spending $150 for Zoom.
Oh, no.
No, we get a lot out of it.
We get that much out of it just for the board meetings. And
Yeah.
Aries meetings.
It's worth
Aries
$5
meetings
a board meeting
and
not to go,
Aries-
have to drive.
And the Aries meetings and Joe's class.
All right, well, that sounds good then. So we'll keep that. And then everything is updated on the ARRL site. Has everybody gotten in their website bios to Mike?
I did,
I
Yeah,
think
most-
I gotta do mine.
finally.
Yeah. I haven't got them posted, but I do have them.
Okay, cool.
Did you see my email today, Mary Jean?
Yes. Yes, and
Want to talk
so,
about that in my section or now?
honestly, it's big enough. I'd say let's go on and talk about it now, because that way we can, if we have to adjust for it in the budget, we can. So do you want to take the lead on that?
Yeah, can you show? I don't have the bandwidth to do that.
Absolutely. Hold on. Let me.
It's a weird name. It's like,
Hmm.
I had difficulty finding it as well.
There we go. Okay. I was trying to figure out which email address you sent it to. Oh,
Yeah,
you got my old one.
I have two of them for you. I may have chosen the wrong one.
All right.
Okay, so I received this email from MailChimp this morning. And essentially what it's saying is that on March 10th, if you have more than 500 contacts in your contacts list, they're going to freeze our account until we either reduce it to 500 contacts or we upgrade to a paid plan. So right now we are sending out emails to approximately 657 individuals or emails. They're also changing it to where we can only send 1,000 emails per month, which right now I think the limit is 2,100 or 2,400. I can't remember, but it's somewhere in that range. So they're really coming down on the service, if you will. So they either want us to reduce the contacts or pay them.
How much are they wanting us to pay?
I have not researched that yet, Mr. Joe. I'm not
Here we
sure
go.
what
Hold
the
up.
options are.
I can.
That's kind of a very important question or
Yeah.
information needed.
Yeah, so it will be okay for us this cycle of Sparks and the meeting invitation, but it will not work for the March.
We don't get, okay, I don't know what invoice that was that she just had up there, but it looked like
I
it
think
was.
that was the previous, because the dollar figures were the same as the,
Oh, that's the Zoom one.
yeah.
Well, it worked earlier when I opened it up. Let me see if I need to open.
Great marketing people. They don't give what their costs are going to be.
Yeah,
'Cause
I was at
looking
work.
at it on my phone. It was more expensive than I thought it would be.
Mike, can you send me the list that MailChimp has? And
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
think
able,
we could-
I'll
I bet we
probably
could-
go through and delete some.
I bet you can.
Yes, I can resend that. You know, we were talking about it late last year, October, November timeframe, and we had identified, you know, some names to get rid of, but, you know, at the time, just because, you know, what was the one lady that went to, the Huntsville Ham Fest, you know, she said she wanted to get back in and she got an email, and so we kind of jumped off of taking anybody off the list. So, but yes, Mr. Joe, I can resend you the list.
Okay. I'll be glad to go through it.
Joe, did you keep a copy of what you sent last year?
I don't remember.
Because I bet you cut almost 150 or so names.
I don't think it was that many, but I'm just wondering how many duplicates are in there.
Well, you'd have to put an Excel spreadsheet together and then,
Yeah.
Not a lot. Yeah, I've already got it in Excel.
okay, then you could alpha,
350 is quite a bit
not 350, it's
Dollars.
150.
on
Yeah.
a premium.
The essentials would probably do it, wouldn't it? That's 15 a month.
Well, heck, the standard's not but $20 a month.
That's 240. But it doesn't really say how many, on here, it really doesn't say how many emails that you can, how many email addresses that you can maintain, does it? It just says how many you can send.
Okay, you can send, here it says 2,500. And they're saying now it's going to be 1,000.
That's correct.
So this
So
chart
this is
all
if you
wrong.
were to sign up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an old cost sheet.
Yeah, I think that this does not represent what's going to happen on March 10th.
We need to
This
know
is-
what's going to happen on March 10th to make
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I found out about it this morning and I have not had a chance to research it. So Mary Jean is just showing what she can show. So I have not had a chance to research it yet.
Okay,
So we can,
I agree with Joe.
Hey, go up the top. It says, how many contacts do you have?
You read my mind. Drop
Yeah,
that
so
down
throw
to like
down that's
1,500 instead
2,500.
of 500 and see if the price changes.
It does change.
Mm,
Mm.
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 yes.
So
Yeah,
I guess the
three
big thing
categories
is
says
because,
limited.
so 500 is the next one down. And so we would, the next level up is 1,500 contacts. Good catch, good catch.
At least the 1st month is free. The 11 months out of the year.
$320 a year plus whatever fees and taxes they charge.
Mm.
I personally see it as a needed tool. What we do.
Tell you what, I'm going to.
Is there another service like MailChimp?
Sure, there are
There's
a lot of
out
other.
there.
You know what? I have a solution. I think if we get it, and if I get the mailing list and then I get the updates, I have sent out on Gmail, you know, when there's a notice or something which is short, usually those notices are short. I could then send them out on Gmail utilizing an up-to-date list. And that way we can use the free.
Right. I think
If
that Mr. Bob
Gmail,
said
if
that when we
Gmail
went,
does that, if Gmail doesn't charge you for that,
Gmail hasn't,
I know, but
I
this
just
is,
sent out I sent out almost 500 tonight for the next tech class.
that's a lot different than 1,600.
yeah, I think that whenever we went above the 500 mark is what pushed us to go into this into this software. I think I remember Mr. Bob saying that.
So if we can drop it down to under 500, and I can keep the list to where it's other things that we want sent out, then we can keep it under 500 at a time.
How many
And only
paid
twice a
members do
month.
we have? How many paid members do we have?
About 300. Well, we have about 300 to 350, I think, members that are on
Not
our
270
roster.
members, but 70 something are life members.
Well, that's all right. They paid the dues, so they're
Yeah.
paid members.
Yeah.
You know, so where do the other,
It's been
Thousand.
people that have been in my class.
well, if
were
they hadn't
added.
joined by, if they hadn't joined by now, they're not gonna join.
Well, but one lady that was in a class,
That's one person out of all the 20 years.
but what I'm saying is if I have that email list, we can send out the additional stuff through Gmail. I can send it out through Gmail, and we can send out the Sparks and all that on a regular basis to our members.
But then you're maintaining two mail lists.
Well,
Well, I
I
mean,
just-
then I think Mr. Joe is saying to move away from MailChimp to
No.
Gmail.
no.
You're not?
No,
He's saying split it.
we can split it, but we can try sending it out on Gmail if you want.
Yep. Yeah, if we
Because
get it below
all you do is
500,
send a link, and we really
Yeah.
don't have a lot of data in the link.
it would sure simplify things if we could do that, because going through MailChimp and designing the email every time, and it's a lot. So I mean, if we could simplify it by going through Gmail, that would certainly make my job a lot easier. But
Let's
and
try
then,
it this month and see what happens.
and then I think, well, yeah. So I can see you the list, and we can work on paring the list down for sure. And I think that then we won't have as many complaints about people not finding the email because it goes into junk or spam
Right.
or wherever. Gmail probably won't do that, and people will then see their email more than they
No.
will from MailChimp.
Most of my stuff I find in that I get Gmail, I find in the junk mail, what more so than I do in the regular mail thing. So I check both of them when I check my Gmail.
I check the spam folders anyway.
Yeah,
Spam
that's what I'm
folder.
saying, yeah. 'Cause
But not
everyone-
everybody does that, and they always complain about their name falling off the list. And
Well,
every
we
time I
can't
check,
We'll
it's
tell them,
there.
check
check the spam mail.
spam folder.
Cause
Yeah,
when
but
anything goes
people,
out, as
oh, I've
many.
checked it. It's not in there.
What I have
And I-
done, when Ken Lassiter was the editor, was director of publications, he had trouble sending it out. He had send me the newsletter, and I'd send it out. And that was with the newsletter included. But if you just
Yeah.
send me the link to get to the newsletter, that'll be even better.
Yeah, I can certainly do that easily.
I mean, I've been sending out for all the different classes. I send out the tech class, I send it out to probably 450 people.
Yeah. All right, so what I heard then is that this month, so what I'm gonna do is I'll send the list to Mr. Joe. You'll look over the list and see how, if we can parse it down below the 500. And if we can, then we're gonna try to send it out via Gmail rather than
Well,
MailChimp for February.
first
Is
of
that
all,
correct?
No, the wrong order. First of all, let's try to see if we can get Gmail. Send it out Gmail. If we can send it out Gmail, then we don't need MailChimp.
Right.
So
Well, I
on
don't think-
Gmail, if you look over here real quick, so it's, I believe because we don't pay, we're considered a trial account, like a free trial. I think, and that's what most individuals are, I guess. So the daily sending limit per user account, it looks like is 500, but I guess maybe, maybe we could, I mean, it might take a little bit to kind of go in and build the listservs, but I mean, we could have two. We could have one for like the paid and active members, and then we could have one for the others, and then just on 2 different days, send out 2 batches, or have 2 different people. We could use one with the club account and one somebody else can send it out the same day. So I don't know. I think it would be
Yep,
worth
those
trying
are-
to do the
yep.
workaround. So
Let's see what happens this month. And if I have to pare down, I'll divide it into 2 and send it out one day and then one the next day. But let's see if we can do it through Gmail.
Okay, when we get off this meeting, Mr. Joe, I'll email you that list because I can't do Zoom and
Yeah.
I can't and email it email it to you at the same time.
Yeah, no
because of
problem.
My bandwidth. Okay, thank y'all very much.
Thank
hey,
you.
when you do, forward a copy to the club email, the Delta Club W4BS@gmail.com.
Okay,
I do think it would be nice to try to send it out with that account, since that is the club account, but if you can at least copy the club email account, that'd be good, Mike.
W4BS@gmail.com.
Delta Club W4BS@gmail.com. All right. Okay, so it sounds like we've got a plan. So either way, we're going to try to send it out by Gmail this month, and hopefully that'll work, because I know that we have to be able to send that out by email, but 318 and 720 is a bit much when I'm sure there's other options out there that are far, far cheaper. So is there any objection to us trying to do that this month and then seeing how it turns out?
No,
No objection.
it's just-
Okay. All right. Well, the budget, since that's pretty big, Jim, you want to take the lead on it?
Sure. May I share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's see.
I've already realized that I failed to increase the Free Fest donation from $200 to $250. So let me go ahead and share this.
It might be only 212.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I did send this out earlier, pared down to just show 2022 and 2023. I went back and I looked at some old Sparks newsletters to see how this was formatted and included. So pretty much everything is staying the same, with a couple of items that have either fallen off of the budget, such as our club liability insurance. So that was paid for this year at $200. So that's why it's showing nothing for the previous years. Equipment insurance went up a little bit, and our PO box went up a little bit. And then of course I'll correct this as well for from our spontaneous meeting that we had, or motion to increase that. So should I go ahead and just leave it at 250, or do
I
we-
would, that way it, we don't have to tweak it more than likely next year if we decide, or whoever decides to do the same donation.
Okay.
So hey, scroll back up.
Yes.
For the meeting space donation, and we may have talked about this specifically, I can't remember, but I know we talked about bringing it up in another month or two about donating an additional amount of like 100 or 150 or so to help out with utilities and whatnot. Would that need to go in on the meeting space donation line just in case, or would that be discretionary?
I'd say discretionary.
Okay.
What is advertising? Paid advertising. I saw it a minute ago. Advertisement. Oh, it's zero. Okay. I was,
Yeah.
I was seeing $2,500 and I want to,
Calm down, Lynn, calm down.
That's advertisement in Sparks. Somebody pays for advertisement in Sparks.
well, if it's zero, why do we have a line item? for the
Well, if
zero?
somebody comes in and buys advertisement in
When was
Sparks,
the last time somebody bought advertisement? I think
well,
Chick-fil-A did one, or somebody did.
Gary wanted to do it last summer
Yeah.
or last spring.
You couldn't afford our fees though.
Isn't that the truth?
We had to censor it.
It was zero.
My question is how much,
Zero.
how much did we actually spend in 2022 versus the budget?
That's a good
Yeah.
question. I did not tally that up, but I can.
Usually
Okay, I
that
think that might be a good to show.
actual as to budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, how much did we spend last year in food?
Yeah, I'll have to go through and tally that up. So I won't be able to provide that during our meeting time tonight, but I can gather that information and send it out to our board of directors distribution.
okay.
Hey, I was pretty kind last year, okay?
Oh,
I was too.
with repeater upgrades.
Yeah,
Well, it's time for some due now, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what was that question? Was that Lynn?
It's time to have some more upgrades.
Oh,
no, but the only thing I've got in plan right now is towards the end of the year, or probably October, somewhere around there. I have to upgrade the license.
Renew
W4B.
the license.
Yes, I've got to renew it. So that's $40.
35.
35, okay. So anyway, but that's the only expense I foresee at this moment.
okay. So I'll go ahead and tally up what we took in and what we spent last year and provide that to the group here. Are there any other changes that we need to make here.
Jim, I had a question about the bottom of the sheet where you had the cash amounts. Is that last year, end of year, last year versus end of year this year?
This would have been the amount in our checking when the budget was published last year.
And so then the projections for this year, what are the 20,000, the 5 and the 11, is that we currently have?
That's what we currently have, yes.
So what this is saying then is we took in about 6 or 7,000 more than we spent last year to kind of get to your tally question. Because when I was looking at this, being a former finance guy, I'm looking at this and saying, we're going to bring in 6,000, we're going to spend 8 roughly. And if we do that every year, then eventually we run out of, that cash goes away. I realize that's probably not a real concern, but I was going to ask the question about that. But then when I saw this, I'm like, well, we're bringing in way more than we're spending, is what I'm seeing, if I'm understanding correctly.
Well, last year's kind of strange anyway, because we had the CDs that we went back to CDs out of cash, didn't we?
Mhm.
And then we had to pay a little bit more cash to have a different amount in the CD. So
Yeah,
it probably figures out about the same.
And I think we took in quite a bit of money from
State sales.
state sales, yeah.
But you also had all that cash from cashing in of CDs for Barry's work on the tower. Not knowing what we were going to have to spend there.
Mhm.
But that's total cash on both sides, isn't it, Jim? Cash and CDs? So I think it's accounted for in both numbers.
It's checking account.
Yeah,
and-
so-
Yeah, oh yeah, 11,000.
So this CD here was cashed in and then renewed here and here. So we took everything that
Well, no,
everything that we earned
No,
on the 10,000.
we made that 11,000 and then
Right,
took 5,000 out of cash and put it in a CD.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because we had to pull, it was like, $26 or $28 by the time October rolled around to make it the even 11.
Correct.
But like he's saying, at the time this was done last in January, February, it was at 10.7 for that.
And I think these numbers, I gotta think deeper on this, but I think this year was this column was completed by David Jackson. That was before I took over, I think.
So
And
that was
part of
2021,
this-
not 2022.
Yeah, because you were the treasurer all during 22.
Did
Well,
Jim?
remember
You're right,
though,
you're
we
right.
in the bylaws, we did change it where, remember where the budget technically got formed in December. So that way, we did all review it again at the beginning of January last year, but we did change it. Last year was the first year where, or I guess technically at the end of 2021, the first year where it was prepared in December and then reviewed in January.
It was drafted in December, but not approved
Drafted.
until January.
Right.
Correct.
And then
Yeah.
Jim, you had a budget that you presented back in, you had an email that you did back in December of 21, where it shows a layout of 4 years. So you go back
Right.
to the email stream and it shows you where we had running totals of 16, 25,000, 25,000 and 19. So it has increased and we changed some stuff around. So just FYI on that. I was trying to see if we had the line item for each one we spent in the previous past, but I'd have to go back and search another email.
And right now I'm on my work laptop because it's the only one that I have with a camera. So I would have to go back to, or I had to jump back onto the club laptop to provide that or get to grab that information or to present it.
Let's go on and approve, but we would like to see the actual.
Yep, I'll grab that information and send it out.
Hey, here we go. So last year we published it. Hold on. This may help, it may not help, but let me share the screen.
Here, let me stop sharing.
All right, so this is from because last year we actually published it in January and then again in February. But here was the proposed budget compared to a couple previous years. So it still doesn't have the actual spending, but it does have compared to previous years. So that shows, because I remember, what was it, around 2018, 2019 is when we had the big repeater upgrades, correct?
Yeah.
It's 2 years
Maybe it
worth.
was 2020. Yeah, it was a couple years.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why we took the CD in cashed it in.
Mm-hmm. But here's a comparison though. Again,
really
not
helped.
actual.
It really helped to have an actual figure.
Yeah.
I mean, all this is a budget. Now, how did you do to your budget?
Yeah.
But then nobody asked any questions, but part of our responsibility is to know what we spent last year as opposed to what was budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to show that we spent a lot less than we budgeted,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we have so much cash.
you know, and if that's the case, then we can run with the budget the way it is, even though it's a deficit budget. Traditionally, we haven't been spending because we haven't had to, but we had we had plans in it if we had to. So,
Well, the bottom line is we had no meeting, so we didn't have any food.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened that we didn't spend money on. And so we had it budgeted if we did, and we didn't have meetings in person and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
okay,
This is what I was thinking of, by the way, when I was thinking we had a line item somewhere, media Zoom, which is fine. I think it's fine to keep it under discretionary because it looks like we dropped it a couple years ago from 2,000 down to 1,000.
I doubt it. They might
Well,
not
we
call
can.
it.
It sounds like if y'all are okay with it, we could take a vote on the budget now and then just, Jim, like you said, if you can get us the actual expenses, and if we need to have another vote by email or call another short, quick meeting before we publish Sparks, we can call for another vote. But that way, at least
I don't
we
think
can.
anybody's going to ask any questions. If you put that budget up, they'll approve it.
Yeah. All right. So is there a motion?
I move that
on-
we put the budget in the Sparks.
All right. So I've got a motion to accept the budget and put it in Sparks. Is there a second?
Is that including the increase from 200 to 250 for the Free Fest donation?
I would think so. If we can clarify, but if we talked about it right now and it's not been voted on, then whatever you've got on that sheet is the proposed budget. Would I be wrong in thinking that?
That's what we're voting on, or what the board is
Yeah.
voting on.
What's on that
So-
sheet?
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
so
change
so
anything.
the-
Don't change anything on the sheet because that's what's being approved.
Okay,
Correct. All right, so we've got a motion by Joe to for the board to approve the proposed budget as listed on that Excel sheet that we just saw. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so I saw Barry's hand first. So Barry seconded the motion. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay,
Hold on,
all in favor?
Just for clarification, what you saw on my screen or what I mailed out earlier today?
What we just saw on the screen that you amended, right?
Okay,
Because didn't you amend it just now?
yes, I did.
Yes,
So, and then if you can also, either now or as soon as you get off of here, email us the updated one that you just adjusted as well.
Okay,
That would be appreciative.
so I will be sending what you see on my screen right now.
Sounds good.
And
Perfect.
then I think we'd
we
like.
can,
to see
I think
that.
we can wait until he gets the actual in there.
Yeah. I think the
Okay.
actual's gonna help a whole lot.
But are we publishing the actual?
No.
Okay.
That's for the board only, for right now.
Right.
Because
Okay,
we
just
don't know
wanna
what
be
the
sure.
actual is as opposed to budget. If we got something is actual of being $100, why are we budgeting $250 this year? You know, it's just, you got to see your actual, so you know what you have done, and that's what you got to budget to, unless you got an exception to it.
Gotcha. All right,
All right. So y'all are thinking Jim to wait on emailing us until the actual is added in with it.
Yeah,
But the only published information is going to be what we
Yes.
see right here. No
Correct.
actual.
Right.
All right. You got that, Jim?
yes,
All right. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? All right. All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
I,
Any opposed, say no or raise your hand. All right. The motion passes. We have a proposed budget approved.
okay,
All right, well, if you want to continue on with your, what you've got, Jim.
all right, so here's my treasurer's report for January, so we started out the month with our checking here with $19,668.46. I'm hoping I'm reading that correctly. I need new glasses. And ended the month with $20,112.52. Now that's composed of 3 deposits here. 105 is is what was deposited by Mary Jean from the December meeting, since I wasn't at that meeting, I was sick. So that shows up here under the December membership dues. We also had a deposit of $571 and also a deposit of $120. And those make up, that's made up of new membership, 20 renewals, and a couple of donations. We also took in $41 for one Club Polo shirt order. So that's comes to a total of $796, and that matches up here at $796. For withdrawals, we had our liability insurance for $200, and then we had 3 checks. We have a couple outstanding checks, so that's why you see that they're not in order. So we had $35 for Sarah membership at the Southeast Repeater Association. $94.74 was reimbursement to Scott for December food. And then another check to Scott for $22.20 for my Dr. Pepper in January.
You'll have to drink it a lot this time around, remember?
Yeah. No, I'm sure there are many people that would appreciate that. Okay, so total checks of $151.94 plus that $200 e-check matches up with checks and debits here.
Was
had
the
one-
e-check the missing check number?
No.
No.
No, that shows up right here, this $200.
Okay,
just
when
shows
you,
up
a
at
lot
the-
of
as it
times an
shows up
e-check
with-
requires a check number, and I didn't know if,
No, it didn't. They just took the account number and the routing information.
okay. So what happened to 1879 or,
So
78.
So 1580 was a voided check because I miswrote it.
oh,
1578 is the check to the church, which hasn't been cashed.
okay.
Well, that's unusual.
And then Mary Jean, I think
What
you
about
have a check as
1580?
well.
That was a,
That was the
I'm
void.
sorry, y'all. I've been
Oh, that
muted.
was a
I've been
void
sitting here
check.
talking. That's me on 1580. I literally I forgot about the check for reimbursement. It's like $8.40, and I deposited it today.
Okay.
So,
All right. So 1578 here in the middle, that's to the church. 1580 I voided. And then the 1582 is
Okay,
the check that
great.
that Mary Jean has.
Okay.
So all these numbers match up with what the
Yep.
checking account has.
Thank you, Jim.
And then we have our 2 CDs that continue to grow. This one for 13 months and this one for, oh, how many months was that one? 26. Okay, so that one, that's what, 2 years or a little over, like 25 months. So that's all I have. Any questions about our treasurer's report?
Thank you, Jim.
No? Okay.
Good
Thank you.
job, Jim. Thank you.
My pleasure.
all right. Anything else for us, Joe?
I don't have anything.
Okay, tech class starting the 27th of February for 6 Monday nights from 6:15 to 9:30. The first 4 classes on Zoom. The 5th class on the 27th of March is going to be FCC exam, review and FCC exam. And then the April 3rd is the equipment demo. And that'll get everything in before the Free Fest. I just sent out a letter, an email to all people that I have on tentative wanting a class, and I've already gotten one reply back. And I hope, and I have some others that are pretty fresh that were wanting it. So, and this one that came back is not a real fresh one either. It was somebody that's been around for a while. But we got that. I have already had one gentleman pass his extra class license, extra class exam. He passed it Saturday at in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And we've got another class to go, and then testing, or one or two class. I'm not sure. I've forgotten now. But we had we're having like a 2-week break because we finished up. We added an hour to one class the last class we did, we added an hour to it to finish up, so we didn't have to go to this past Saturday. And then we have another class. Let's see, we have a class on the 11th, and then and 18th, and then testing on the 25th. In the Zoom classes, I'm enjoying the Zoom classes because it's giving us the opportunity to have some people from out of town that enhance that grow the class to where I've struggled to get on extra, particularly 6 people that would want to take their extra class. So having it by Zoom, I think, has helped. And the gentleman from New Hampshire is from the Portsmouth Amateur Radio Club. I'm a member of it and attend. And one of the extra class people last year was from there, and he's been promoting the classes when I have it on Zoom. So that's been nice. And then this past Sunday, I loaned the club Yaesu with 981 to a new ham that tested on last November that got his general, Joe Duke. He and his brother-in-law took their exam. His brother-in-law is going to take that general this coming week if he can get out of work. But Joe lives in Southwind and had a question with an antenna. He really wanted to get on HF, and he was saying he couldn't put up an antenna and all that. So I loaned him my TN07. He just so happens to have a nice tall pine tree in the corner of his lot. And we took my slingshot and threw a line up and got the antenna up, and then tied it off at the soffit of his house. And the first contact that I made a contact to see if it was working, and it was Panama Canal Zone. And then he made a contact in Ohio and a contact in Minnesota. So I think he's hooked.
Good.
And his wife and Mike's wife both were appreciative and excited. They couldn't see the antenna. We said, that's good.
A tangential question to that, I get asked periodically by new applicants or whatever, or new members that have questions about radios. I've been referring several of them to Joe, or a few of them to Joe. Is there somebody I should refer to? Because I don't feel comfortable answering a lot of these myself.
You can send them to me.
Okay,
If I don't know about it, I'll send them to somebody else.
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and then as I said earlier, for testing next Tuesday, we have 2 youngsters and Mike. So that's 3 people to test. That's it.
Good deal.
I guess in March we'll bring up Huntsville Ham Fest bus trip.
It's already time again.
It comes around.
It does. It does. But it's good though. Scott?
Okay, so plan for more tables and chairs this time around. That's
I think
what's
that'd
on
be
the
good.
agenda, so. Anything from the snack bar that anyone wants special?
Dr. Pepper.
You want
Just
regular
kidding.
Dr. Pepper or Diet Dr. Pepper?
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Any kind
Or
of,
Weller's would be nice. Fight the germs off.
all right, so I guess maybe some chips this time, maybe anything different that I have an agenda for, so more tables and chairs and chips, so. Anything else? That's all I have. I'm real easy. Just whoever gets there for testing, the only thing I ask is to make sure the ice machine is working. So I can give me a lead on getting ice for our drinks. The Dr. Pepper that we have on staff. I'd appreciate it. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, John.
Thank you, Scott.
Let's see, this month we have Carolyn Horn doing a presentation on beginning CW, how to get into CW. And then next month, tentatively, I've got to line someone up, but looking at someone to do a presentation on Parks on the Air.
Okay.
That's cool.
So that's what we want to call it, beginning CW?
Sure, or an introduction into CW, you know, she's going to be presenting information on what she has found to be a successful way in getting started in it.
Okay.
So it should be pretty good. She's communicated quite a bit, some of the ideas that she had.
Oh, by the way, I put some equipment on the NAQCC swap shop newsletter this month. And it came out today, and I've already had 4 replies for one item, but it's only $20. And then I've got replies from 3 other items. It's about $110 or so, but at least it's moving a few things. And these are more the kits more so than, I don't know if anybody really wanted to build kits in the club. Do you? Does anybody?
Well, I would like to, but I have not had time, and I've got a couple I know I've picked up to work on, but I don't know. It would be neat if we did something. I don't know. I mean, this might be better to talk with Ham about if he wants to bring back Ham 101 or this. I don't know if we ever want to do a special event for this, but if we had enough folks who were interested in meeting at a certain time and like who could bring their soldering kits and stuff like that, and if we had everybody sign up and maybe pay a little or something, and we could order kits for everybody, and then like people who have no idea what they're doing could have some Elmers there who would guide them even in like kit building or something. That might be, I mean, it would be different and it wouldn't be something that could really be done in a meeting, but I think if we did something with it and tapped into it, I think there's interest out there, but you know, some people just might not know how to get into it. But I don't know, maybe not. Maybe everybody just wants to go and buy the radio and be done with it too. But
We used to do that, at least I went one time, I can't remember who it was, they had the electronic store in their garage. But anyway, we went and built antennas.
yeah,
Ham was
J
part of
pole.
that. Yeah,
J-pole antenna.
J-pole antennas, and that had a lot of participation with limited space. And you walked out of there with a J-pole antenna.
Yeah, they're moved out of town, but Ham was involved in that also.
Where did they move?
I forgot, Middle Tennessee or East Tennessee? Middle Tennessee, I think.
well, that's good. That's good that you're getting several people who are reaching out about that, Joe.
Yep.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it.
Okay. Barry?
Okay, I don't have much. I've already mentioned the fact that towards the end of the year, I got to renew the club license. That's not a problem, but today, because it was so nice and pretty, and it has been for last 2 or 3 days, I went out to the 8-2 site just to see what was happening. Absolutely nothing. Nothing's going on out there, no construction. Nobody's out there. I had to unlock the gates myself. I got Rick's meter off the 8-2 machine because we don't need to monitor it, right now because it's doing beautiful. And basically everything's doing pretty good.
Don't talk too loud.
I know. Yeah, when I got out there, I had to wait to shut the thing off to take the meter out because people were actually using it and bragging
okay.
on how good it worked. So
Who
yeah,
was on it?
I'll take Jeffrey. Jeffrey
KQU?
and somebody. Yeah,
You must have been out there either during lunch or drive-by time.
he was driving. He
Yeah.
was doing something.
I knew
Yeah.
he had to be in his car.
He was going to eat somewhere, I'm sure. But anyway, that's
Good.
all I got. Nothing's going on, no excitement, and the budget's good for now.
Awesome. It sounded good. I know it seems like this is ages ago, but this was after our board meeting. It sounded good for the event that we worked, Swamp Stompers.
Yeah,
It did everything we needed it to do. So
yeah, that's great. I looked at the meter before I disconnected it, and we were pegging the meter out for power, which is about, by the time it gets through all the crap and everything, this is going out to the antenna. It's only about a little over 20 watts. And of course, the antenna amplifies it pretty much. But crap, forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, the SWR was just, the needle just barely moving at all. I mean, it's like 0.1, 0.2, something like that. It was very small. I could barely see it moving. So that's real good. Before, when we were having the problem, that SWR jumped way up, and to about 4 or 5, something like, I don't know. It was way up there. And I still think that was also while some antenna work was going on TV station. And I think they had something lean up against our antenna. I really do. I think it was because it's on the platform mounted there, and it's a perfect spot to set something and lean it up against it. So, I mean, that's it's a guess, but all of a sudden, boom, perfect. So there we go. Hope it doesn't come back. That's
good.
it.
Paul?
I got several things, but I'll try to be quick. As far as membership applications go, we got 2 new applications and 23 renewals. Do you guys want me to read all the names?
Yeah.
Okay. So the new ones were Joe Duke and Ronnie Thomas. The renewals were Lisa Alex, Richard Brown, Thomas DeCaria, Jonathan Dodge, James Dollar, Thomas Ernst, Steve Esteban. Sorry about this. Steve Frazier, Michael Harrison, Randall Hayes, Pam Hilliard, Jose Ibarra, Rick Kanschat, Ken Lassiter, Michael Lumen, Michael Marsden, Richard Martin, Richard Miller, Rick Miller, Will Tenney, Rick Tillman, Ray Turner, Bob Lauder, and John Ballmer. So do I need to request for a motion to approve these?
You can make the motion if you want to.
So
Okay.
I move that we accept these.
All right, so we
do you
got
have
a
this?
motion to accept the applications. I see John's hand as a second. Is there any discussion on this?
I was gonna say, I thought there was one more new member, maybe one showed up as a renewal, but was sent in as a new. Where's my
I had
list?
one from you and I had one from Joe is what I thought.
Yeah, actually, I had two,
Do you have the names?
and hold on, I gotta pull it up on a different computer. Oh wait, there we go.
Oh, wow. So
Okay. I'm sorry.
are you gonna bring up the donations in a minute, Paul? Or were you planning on that?
Yeah, I had a question about
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So should we talk about that while he's looking or?
Yeah, we
do
could.
I mean, is it important that we just point a renewal? Or is that something I can look at after the fact or?
Well, I mean, I guess we're voting on all members, whether they're new or renewals, correct? So. let's see, I've got. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a
The
long
biggest
file.
thing- I mean, it would be nice to make sure we get that right, but the biggest thing is that if there was any reason to be concerned about any of the people who applied for renewal or for a new membership, we could always pull that out and vote on that separately, or if there was a reason we need to discuss anybody. It's just kind of, for those of you who are a little bit newer, this process, I mean, it seems like it might be redundant a little, but it allows us the opportunity to make sure that we've just got kind of a fail safe for making sure there's no major issues or something.
Yeah, so what I see as new members, I have Michael Lumen and the next one on the list, Ronald Thomas.
Okay, so I must have misclassed Ronald Lumen. I'm looking real quick.
Okay. And then of course, Joe Duke that Joe sent. So that would make up 3.
Oh, you're right. I had
Members.
it in the wrong pile. I was sorting quickly before the meeting. My apologies.
Oh, no worries.
No worries.
So the names were correct. I had the one, Mike Lumen misclassified, so he's a
Yeah.
renewal.
All right, so we've still got a motion in a second. Is there any other discussion on the membership applications? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
I
Any opposed likewise? All right, that unanimously passes. Thank you.
So who seconded that? I was kind of busy.
John did.
All right. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So I had a question on what to tell visitors who want to join about the 1 year, first year free. That is correct, right? That we will offer membership for the first year free.
If they
When-
pay their ARRL dues. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's our way of encouraging them to join ARRL. And some people are not going to join a national organization, and that's fine. But for those on the fence, I know for me, I went on and joined because everybody kind of talked it up, and it was like, well, if you get free for Delta Club for the remainder of the year, and then you're taking that money and putting it towards the ARRL membership. So
then if they ask me the process for that, I just tell them to send the membership application in with a notation that they are an ARRL member, and that's what they need to do. Okay.
correct. Joe, you're muted.
Usually they get a membership card from ARRL, send a copy of the membership card with the application and do it. Or if they really want to, if it's a new member, sign up for ARRL through the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, I might be confused on this matter as well. Because I thought that anybody that takes one of the classes and then wants to become a member of the club, that they get the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Comped. Is that correct?
If they pay, join ARRL.
Okay, so they still have to be an ARRL.
You have to
member.
join ARRL to get the free membership.
So that has changed. Used to be if you take the course and get your license, you get the rest of the year as a Delta Club member.
No, that's been changed for several years now.
Yeah, because that's how it was when I got my license in 2017, was you had to join ARRL
Yeah, same for
Oh.
me.
the remainder of the year free, the Delta.
Maybe so.
Which I will say, I mean, there's a lot of people who we tell them that, and they've still paid, the $20 as a donation, anyway, because they're that excited about joining the club. So,
As a matter of fact, Mike, KQ4FMB, said he went ahead and paid the $20 even though he had joined ARRL. He told me that Sunday afternoon when I was working with Joe Duke and him. I think we're one of the few clubs that do that requirement for ARRL, but it's to encourage ARRL membership.
yeah, and from what from what we've heard, I guess from David and just in general, it seems like we've got far better percentages of ARRL membership than a lot of the other clubs. So I don't know, and I guess that probably has a lot to do with why they did the whole renewal, and then the new member, get the club commission program, I guess is why. So we just kind of beat them to the punch. But yeah, so Paul, yeah, that's what it is that if they join ARRL,
Okay.
then it's they're either, I mean, if they're applying in January, it's the whole year. But I know as we get through classes and stuff, we'll have a lot of people join mid-year. So it's just the remainder of that calendar year, and then they would renew up in the following year.
Okay.
Hopefully.
More quick things. Do I need to be filing or saving these, like the letter that Jim just sent to the church with the donation? Is that something I need to be keeping, I guess?
I don't think it would hurt.
Okay.
I mean, I would think if you sent it, it probably wouldn't hurt to have it in your stuff, but I don't know. I mean, the secretary would keep a copy of that kind of material. So if you've got a copy sent to you, I would personally just print it out and stick it
Okay.
with it. I mean, that's my
Yeah.
opinion.
And I have a copy of it that I file away in my records as well, matching up with the check.
Okay. Well, I'll file a copy. Two more things. Mary Jean, you mentioned the donations. I guess for Jim, we got two this month. The $200 donation to Upon Park. Can't think of his last name. And then there was another $5.
You dropped out.
donation.
You dropped
Pardon?
out when you said donation from so-and-so.
One was from Park, the $200 donation.
Park Dodge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
And
with
then,
his, with his application, his renewal, he paid $220. So 200 was a donation. And then the other one, I'm sorry, I hope you don't mind me jumping in here, Paul.
Sure.
Since I took the money from them. The other $5 was from Ken Lassiter, and that was simply because he only had $30 on hand, and he was paying for himself and his wife, and then just decided just to leave the $5 with me. Because he left that before I even arrived. So he just had to make that $5 a donation instead of giving them change. That's it.
So I'll send a letter to Park, and I guess would an email suffice to, or do I need to send another letter to the other guy?
For $5, I don't think so, but for 200, Park's been very generous to the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will get that done. And the last thing I had, I was going through Carolyn's stuff, and you guys hit on some of this already, but she had a BOD monthly to-do list. And I don't know if you guys all have this or not, but for February, it's talking about the budget, putting in sparks, remind members to renew membership. Here's one I'm not familiar with. Discuss whether or not to have a W4M event at meeting. And
Yeah,
I'll go on
so-
record real quick and say, do not Google W4M to see what it is. You'll go places you don't want to go.
Oh man. So W4M back in, I think, what was it, 2018, maybe 2019, we had a bicentennial event, the Memphis Bicentennial. And so we did a special event in like May to commemorate that downtown at the Visitor Center. Is that what it's officially called?
The tourist center
The tourist
Tourist
center.
Visitor Center.
Over
on
the one
Riverside
over by
Drive.
yeah. And so that's a to-do list that I came up with a couple of years ago, but I mean, we've also had a couple of years of the COVID stuff since then, and I don't know. So we could talk about it. I don't know that we're at a point where we've got enough people stepping in to help out to do a big event like that, but I mean, we could talk about it. Never heard.
I was only bringing it up because it's on the list, so.
Yeah.
Or forget I even said it if that's better.
We can put it off till next month.
Okay. And then the last thing on the to-do list was Free Fest, which we've already talked a bunch about. So I don't know if this is something I need to be covering every month, or is that what it's for?
That was just something because that's something I think I'd come up with when I was secretary, and I know I've used it. I used it last year to kind of help keep on track with some stuff, and that's kind of what also helped me. Well, it just, I mean, I've referenced it a few times, and it probably needs to be redone because, like I said, that was done when I was secretary, and a lot's happened since then. But I don't know. I don't think it would hurt to look at it and reference it, because that way we could bring it up. Because there was, at the time, there was some discussion on when do we need to start discussing, you know, like the Huntsville bus trip, and when do we need to start discussing this and that, to make sure that if something happened, or I guess if there was a significant changeover with the board, that it just gives somebody a guide to say, hey, oh, I didn't realize we need to start, you know, contacting somebody about this particular event this early. Because like with Free Fest, like Joe mentioned, you know, it was important to get that in, so that way if they print the ticket items on the tickets this year, we're in to be able to have Delta Club donated the battery, you know, on those tickets and stuff like that. So I think it's good to reference that as we need to, and then if we need to just say let's not worry about it, or let's push it off another month, we can. But
Speaking of the tickets, the battery, Rick Tillman said there's nothing printed on the back of the tickets. They did that so they could get the information to the printer and get the tickets out sooner than they have in past. So there is no information on the back of the tickets or on the front of the tickets. So just wanted to let you know that. But I did let him know that we had the battery, and also I have not gotten the final price on the battery, but it lists for $212 on the website, on hamsource.com website.
okay. Well, that's good that it's already. Thank you for handling that, Joe. Because there's no telling with the way everything has been, especially with shipping. It's good to, you know, knock it out early, and that way we're not risking it not coming in time. So okay. Anything else, Paul?
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, thank you for writing a letter to Park, because I know that is a generous donation.
No problem.
Mike, did you have anything else?
I'll
Besides
be
the
trying to, I'll be trying to, you know, get the bios updated on the website, and, you know, working on Sparks and getting it ready, and, you know, just the normal stuff.
Okay.
Mike, you might, on the Sparks for the program, you might put CQ intro to CW.
Okay.
That's cute. Yeah.
Okay. Can do that.
That's cool. Lynn, you got anything for us?
No, not yet.
Perry?
I'm a man of few thoughts and even fewer words. I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
That's a lawyer speaking.
All right. That's all I've got. Does anybody else have anything else?
Mr. Joe, will you
Anything
be
else
at the
for-
meeting next Tuesday night?
I'm planning on it.
Okay, because I'm going to bring my application for ARRL renewal. So I've already written the check and everything, so I'll just give that to you.
Okay, great. Because I've got Joe Duke's check for ARRL also. I was holding it till Tuesday night to see if we get any others.
Do you
Very good,
want
thank you.
to, I know we've been talking about it for a while, but do we want to put a special blurb or something like an announcement saying that if you've got an ARRL membership you're wanting to renew, we're going to send a batch in this month?
Yeah,
do
we
we
can do
wanna-
that.
'Cause, I mean,
Yeah,
if there's
that-
anybody,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I can put that in the announcements.
All right, anything else? Is there any
Any other
objections?
announcements that need to go in other than that one? Do you have anything you want to send?
I'm going to I think I sent you this before, resend the polo announcement.
Okay,
And there was something else. I'm gonna look over. I've got it typed down somewhere.
okay.
I'll get anything emailed to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Is there any objection to adjourning?
None.
Done.
Hearing
Checking
none,
the
we are
internet.
adjourned.
Thank
All right,
you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.